Vinny? Looking fresh with the new choo-choo. Yeah, I'm good, man. Bueno.
You know, I have no regrets. I have so many good memories along the way, even when I was here the first time around.
To be able to do it with this group of guys and my brothers, it would actually mean a lot more to me than winning any MVP or any championship.
I'm just going to get on the mound and bring it. I throw hard and got a decent curveball, so let's see what happens.
Fantastic, man. I can't say enough good words about all the guys we got. It's going to be a great year.
I get lucky once in a while. I show that little skinny pop is what I'm going to call it, and now it goes sometimes.
The guys in there, they know. We've been there. A lot of good arms in there, a lot of new faces, and it's a fun team. It's a good team.
Well, the 2024 Inter-County Baseball League season is right around the corner, and if you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, there's a lot to be excited about because, well, already you've seen, if you've been following along on social media, that the whole gang is back together for the Toronto Maple Leafs again in 2024. There's a lot of things that have turned over in this organization between last year and this year, and we'll get into that as Leafs Weekly continues along this season in 2024. But on the side of the players, things are quite similar. And what we've seen in the last 3 years from the Toronto Maple Leafs is that this is a hungry group that wants to win an IBL championship. And they've been oh so close, especially 2 of the last 3 years, making it to the Inter-County Baseball League finals. So this is a hungry group. And I thought, who would be the perfect guest to talk to on the first episode of Leafs Weekly? And I landed on a guy who has already done it 5 times in his Inter-County Baseball League career. That's win an IBL championship. That's Chris Nagorski doing that with the Barrie Baycats. He's had some stunning appearances on the mound for both the Leafs and the Baycats in his long IBL career. So here's my conversation with Chris. Right, joined now by Chris Nagorski from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Chris, I know everyone is excited to see this new Toronto Maple Leafs team this year, and there's lots of faces that are going to be back with the Maple Leafs this year. I'm looking at this Leafs team from last year. I know there's a lot of motivation from these guys, and it feels like maybe there's a bit of unfinished business with this group of guys.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've gotten really close the last couple of years, and especially losing 2 years ago in the finals with my first year in Toronto, and then coming back next year and then losing to Welland in 5 games, eventual champions from that side of things. The team is so close. I mean, a play here, play there, a guy here, guy there, and we're right back in the mix every single year. So the core group of guys that are here really, really want it. And, we're going to try our hardest to get it again.
I know the IBL is a league where so much relies upon the playoffs, and especially when you get those short 5-game series as well. How much pressure is it for you guys, knowing you've played the whole season, then having to go in a tight spot in the playoffs like that?
I mean, that's what we work for the entire year, is to get ready for those playoffs. We want to be hitting our stride, that 43rd game and right into it. So you don't want to say that the regular season is a long kind of drawn out process, but we use that to get ready, and then once the playoffs hit, kind of put our pedal to the metal there. And really, that's what this team is built around. I know a lot of other teams maybe stress a little bit more during the regular season and getting those wins in front of their home crowds and whatnot, and trying to get for the regular season championship. But obviously, that'd be great to happen, but it's not our primary concern. And with this veteran group of guys, it's we tell the younger guys every single year, it's like, that's what we're working towards, and that's what we want to be playing our best baseball at the end of the year.
Well, you know what it's like to play your best baseball at the end of the year, because you were part of 5 of the 6 consecutive championships that the Barrie Baycats won. I wonder if you can tell me a little bit about those teams. Was there something about those Barrie Baycats teams, especially when you'd won 5 in a row, that kind of separated you guys from everyone else?
Yeah, I mean, it's the group of guys that get put together for that, and the continuity year in and year out that really takes the team to another level. Obviously, talented baseball players has an effect, and we had some good baseball players over those years. But if you have a core group of guys that stick together, they like playing together, they hang out off the field, they want to see each other succeed. Those are the types of teams that make it far in the playoffs. and then you sprinkle in some really good baseball players, and it takes a team to that next level. So really, it's about the guys, it's about support, from the ownership and the fans, and just that energy that gets brought to the field every single day really turns into something special when it gets put all together.
Chris, I want to take you back to a bit earlier in your career. When you look at your stat line back in the IBL, there's 2 seasons in 2014 and 2015 where you didn't allow an earned run. I'm just wondering, how the heck does that happen that you don't allow an earned run for the entire series and or for the entire season? And what were those 2 seasons like for you on the mound?
I mean, I blacked out those 2 seasons. I don't even remember what happened at all. I mean, maybe I got a couple fortunate bounces here and there, but I'd say a little bit more in my prime back then. Coming out of college after a couple of years, and then getting my feet wet in the league and a little bit more experience, and then my stuff's never been the type that just wipes people off the floor and blow guys out of the water. Just attack guys and throw strikes, maybe a couple miles an hour would help me at the pits these days. But yeah, no, it was just a good run. And for the younger guys out there, it's you can try to throw as hard as you want, but if you're not throwing strikes and not getting ahead in counts and finishing out that way and trusting your defense behind you, then it's it's not really going to pay off for you.
I mean, Chris, there are a few Toronto Maple Leafs guys who are the same age that you were back in those seasons winning those championships. I want to get your perspective on some of these new acquisitions. I know the latest guy that we saw signed was Wilhelmus Alvarado, and he was so good on the mound for you guys last year.
Breaking ball, inside corner, strike 3 called. Here at the broadcast booth. Here's the pitch, strike 3 called. Well, Wilhelmus Alvarado strikes out the side.
Can you tell me a bit about Wilhelmus Alvarado? I know the slider was something that people were really impressed about, and just the velocity on the fastball as well.
Yeah, I mean he's got really good stuff. It's pro level stuff, and I'm glad we have him on our team because that slider is devastating, really. And then his fastball, it's low 90s with a lot of run essentially. And sometimes maybe the fastball command gets away from him a little bit, but he always comes back to that slider and can wipe guys out with it. But he's a cool guy. He's calm. He never gets too over his heels on anything. He's a really fun guy to talk to, and that carries out onto the mound a little bit. And yeah, again, just back to his stuff, it's pretty nasty. So glad he's on our side.
Jesse Hodges last year went to Jeff Lounsbury and the coaching staff and said, "Hey guys, I can pitch." From the perspective of someone who is a pitcher to a guy like Jesse Hodges who hadn't pitched, he told me he hadn't pitched since he was like 13, 14 years old or something like that.
Other than Hamilton, the last time I started a game was actually in like 2012 when I was in high school. But I knew I could do this, so that's why I kept telling people like I can pitch, I can do it.
How impressed were you, or were you surprised at how well he was able to do on the mound last year as his kind of first crack at pitching in a while?
No, honestly, I wasn't that surprised because Jesse, at the end of the day, he's a gamer. He's a baseball player. You ask him to do anything on the field and he's going to give it 150% and not leave anything else out there. And he's a talented guy. I mean, he's a professional baseball player. He's seen people do it for a lot of years, and he's a pro level defensive player. And when you're throwing across a diamond at third base, like you've got to be still pinpoint with your control like that. And once he was just on the mound, he just had to hone a little bit. Obviously, he's a little bit rough around the edges, but you can see that he's really giving it all out there. And you really want a guy like that on your side and pitching out there. And he's going to be a bulldog and attack hitters and not give anything else out there.
So you're saying that after I saw him throw the ball from the outfield and gun a few guys out at home, we shouldn't have been surprised?
Yeah, he's got an absolute hose. I mean, it's you see it from third, you see, then you stick him out in left field, and he's gunning guys down. It's yeah, just stick him on the mound, and guys like that will figure it out.
Obviously, this is another team that's going to go for an IBL championship again this year, Chris, because you got a lot of the same guys back, and I know you might be the most hungry team in the league as well. Just the Maple Leafs have had back-to-back years going to the finals. You were part of one of those years. Last year, a bit of a heartbreaking loss before getting to that point once again. What do you think of the squad that's shaping up this year? And do you think this is a team that can challenge for another championship?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you stick the same guys out there that have had that experience in the playoffs, and we're going to bring it again, just like we did in the previous years, and sprinkle in a couple new guys and returning some guys who get a little bit more experience in the league, and we're going to be a force in the playoffs again. Whatever happens in the regular season happens. I know we potentially might be going through some growing pains with new ownership and an evolution from that perspective. But again, once the playoffs come around, the switch gets flipped and we're ready to go, and we're going to be fighting until the end again this year.
Hey, Chris, thanks so much for taking the time and chatting with us. I know there's a lot of Toronto Maple Leafs fans that are excited to have you back in the bullpen once again this year. So thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, that's Chris Nagorski there from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Big thanks to him for hopping on Leafs Weekly, and we'll continue the Leafs Weekly updates as we get closer and closer to opening day, and that is going to be on May 12th. It'll be at Christie Pitts against the London Majors, just like it has the last couple of years for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So we're excited to get to that point, and we'll keep getting you updated on Leafs Weekly as we get closer and closer to opening day. Thanks so much for tuning into Leafs Weekly, and we'll see you next time.